Welcome to See It and Feel It with Dr. Brett. And I'm Dr. Brett, and today I'm here with Rachel Jones, professional golfer. Nice to meet you. Good to see you.
You too.
We met the other day on the range.
That was pretty cool.
Awesome. How often do you practice?
About 6 days a week.
Nice. Tell us what that's like. 6 days a week of practice. Not everybody on the planet does that.
So I give myself a day off for obviously recovery and life. But I don't know. I've done it probably since freshman year of high school.
Wow.
Or actually probably junior year of high school because I played basketball my whole life. And
Wow.
so then I realized I really liked golf towards my freshman year of high school. Started taking lessons, and then I realized that if I wanted to play in college, I was going to have to give up the other sport. So I liked golf better, and so I went with that route. I just liked the challenge of it because I really wasn't good when I first started. Supposedly I had a really good swing when I was little, and like I'd go out with my dad once a week, like in middle school or something, and like we lived on a golf course. So that was pretty cool to like kind of branch into it more and more. And so I started taking lessons, and I loved it. And so he was like, you could be pretty good at this. And so I was like, okay, well, I can't play basketball year round anymore because you'd have to go to the open gyms in the summer.
Oh, yeah, totally.
And you're at practice till dark, so I couldn't play golf. And so I quit basketball. I didn't play my junior and senior years, but I played the first 2 years.
Cool.
And then I just started ever since then. I was kind of behind the 8 ball from all the other girls, so I just had to do it every day.
Because a lot of the girls are starting really young.
Yeah,
is that
like
what you're getting
little. And like I played basketball since I was little, but I was, probably started, since we lived on a course like my whole life, I would probably go out there and, swing a club once every week with my dad, like when he'd play, but I'd just go and hit balls and then leave. And then middle school, I started playing like every Sunday afternoon, pretty much with my dad.
Sweet.
And then that's when I got into it freshman year.
And so that was your dad's sport? Like that was his thing?
He played college golf, but he liked football the best, actually. But he actually ended up playing Appalachian State for golf. And then he never pushed it on me, but he introduced me to the sport for sure.
Awesome. And tell us about the basketball before we get further into the golf world.
Yeah, basketball was great.
Were you a point guard or shooting guard? What were you?
I was 2-3. So, yeah, 2. I was point guard when I was little.
Yeah.
And then, towards middle school, high school, there's shorter people, but also better people. Yeah. So they got into the first spot.
You seem like you'd be pretty quick.
I'm very quick.
Yeah, totally. I got that feel.
I don't know. Yeah. I had this nickname in college and all that.
What was your nickname in college?
Well, Twitch, but I didn't love it because I was like, that sounds kind of negative, but it really wasn't. It was just because I just like
culture we live in, so
I mean, whatever, So I just get things done. But no, I love basketball. I like the team aspect of it, but I think I like golf because it's individual. Because you have to motivate yourself.
Too,
like,
right?
Yeah, and you can control your practice times. You can control how much you practice, what you practice. That's the big one. And you're by yourself, and you can just do what you need to do. Yeah. And like I love the team aspect, but I mean, I have the team aspect in other ways, like my coaches or my family or friends, and then outside of golf. So I just like. I motivate myself, like I'm able to, because I have a passion for golf. Basketball was different just because I played it for my whole life. Kind of got burned out a little bit.
Yeah.
So I'm glad I started late in golf because now I feel like I haven't reached my potential. So that's huge.
And so freshman year in high school is when you started taking it really seriously? And what did you tell us about those first 10 lessons?
The first one I still remember to this day. I remember like what exactly he taught me and like very key fundamental things I still do. Really? So I probably should do more, but he's always taught me those little core things. And we pretty much had to.
Is it the same teacher you still have now from when you were a freshman?
We're going like 12 years.
Wow, that's pretty amazing.
Yeah, he's awesome.
Pretty cool
Kelly
stuff.
Phillips. And yeah, he's great. And so
he's in North Carolina somewhere?
So we just FaceTime, or I'll go back up for Christmas. I'll see him.
Totally.
It's not as much where I have to see him as much now because we kind of have my swing where I want it, just tweaking and stuff. But at first, I went a lot. And he, he's always been there for me. He actually went to Q school with me for a few times as actually my caddy. Just because he knew my swing.
For SymMetra tour? Or,
so ours is combined. So it's LPGA and SymMetra together. So there's 3 stages. First stage is in California, Palm Springs, late August. And
that's where we just came from, by
love
the way.
it. I love it. It's just not in August. I mean, it's hot.
Yeah,
it's like,
so it's 116 in August.
Exactly.
Every day because we just live there.
And I remember, I had to tee off at 1 o'clock one day and 121. And
121 is a little bit much,
So it was a little much. But so that was the first stage. Second stage is usually in October. And it's in Venice, Florida.
Yeah.
And then the third was in Pinehurst. But I think they're switching it this year.
And so what is it?
November.
So a certain, like inside the top, 50 make the LPGA or something?
So
and then outside of that make the SymMetra?
Pretty much. You have to get through all stages. So the first stage is about 360 girls.
Wow.
They cut it after the third day. So if you make it the fourth day, you're in a new thing.
Yeah.
And they take the...
This is the Palm Springs phase.
So then they take a top, whatever, I can't remember the number, 100 some.
Yeah.
And then...
Is this at Mission Hills? Like, where was it? Mission
It
Hills?
was Mission Hills, yeah.
Yeah.
So
Wow,
Shadow
pretty
Ridge
cool.
was the third course I played.
Shadow Ridge I played
It was
many
good.
times. So I
So
just lived in the desert.
Yeah, I love Dinosaur
Yeah.
Course. That's my
Yeah, of
favorite.
course.
And they have the
Beautiful.
A&A Inspiration Major, which is really
Right.
cool. I play that course great. I love it. Sets up well for me. And then Palmer and Player. They took away one of those and now we play Shadow Ridge.
Got it.
And then the second
Palmer being the
stage,
Palmer Player at PGA West? Is that what you're
I think
referring
it was
to?
no, I think it was the Mission Hills Palmer.
Oh, I see.
Yeah.
Gotcha. I'm thinking about PGA West. Just.
Oh yeah. But they switch it up a little bit, and then stage 2, all those 100-some girls meet the other girls that have lost status on other tours, like the LPGA and SymMetra, and they all have to go. So you combined, so you're still at 300 something. So you're at that number again. And then from that one, there's not a cut. It's 4 days of play, 2 on each course, and then I can't remember the number, but a certain amount of those go to final stage, and then there's girls from LPGA that lost their status that have to go back. So you're still you're combined with other girls every stage, and then the top 40 get their LPGA card.
Gotcha.
At the very end.
And then the next 100 or so stay on the SymMetra tour. How's this
so
work?
I think
it's like the Corn Ferry tour for
the girls.
For the
it's
girls.
pretty much equivalent to women's, men's,
Gotcha.
And I would say it's 41 through can't remember all of them. It might be 45, top 45 LPGA.
45 through, so 46 through 125.
46 through, no, it's not even, it's like 46 through 60 or 59 or so get
conditional status
conditional for LPGA.
LPGA.
And
then
full SymMetra, obviously.
Oh, gotcha.
And then,
exactly.
honestly, if you make it to stage 2, you get some SymMetra status. So that's what happened to me last year.
You made it to stage 2.
I've never made a final stage. So that's the goal this year. But second stage, since there's not a cut, it's just however you finish at the end. Like they look at the list.
So you got the SymMetra status.
I was pretty
from the second stage.
Low on the list, but since I got in April or May, I can't remember what month it was, I made the cut in the first event that I played.
April as in COVID April when it first hit?
So 2019.
Oh, got it, 2019. Got
it.
Because this world has changed, right?
Yes.
Did they cancel the
They canceled Q School this year, so we have to wait till next year.
Totally.
And you pretty much keep the status you had.
Do you have to wait till all the way till August, September?
Because we're not a wraparound season, so it's pretty rough, but it is what it is. We're all getting better.
Practicing a lot,
Yeah, pretty much that's all we're doing.
6 days a week of practice here, right?
And so, so that's kind of how the Q School stuff works. And then I guess I did okay. So because I got in late.
Do you have full status on SymMetra?
Not right now.
Not yet.
So
gotcha.
I had partial, and then I made the cut in my first event in whenever it was, April or May, in Arkansas. And because of that, the reshuffle is coming up. And so I got reshuffled into higher status, I got into the next 8 events.
Wow, fantastic.
So it lasted me for the whole summer.
Did they cancel some of those events because of COVID?
Not yet, because this was still 19.
Oh, got it.
So I was April, May, June, July, and then August was Q School. Well, I had been playing all season with golfer's elbow and mainly my right. Wow. And since I made the cut, I was like, well, guess I'm playing. But I should have taken time off, should have taken a medical. I didn't know about all this. And I just kind of was pumped about it. It was my first year, rookie year, they call it. And so I wanted to see how I did. But I was hurt. And so I was playing hurt, missed cuts a lot by 1. It's kind of unfortunate, but I learned a lot, and I learned what my body needs now to stay healthy and what I need to do to not swing good.
Did you work your way through the...
I worked my way through, but then because of that, I pushed too much.
Is there a difference between golfer's elbow and tennis elbow?
I had both.
Because I've had tennis elbow.
Tennis is on this side, I think, and golfer's on this.
So
or
brutal.
Vice versa.
Yeah, that is just intense.
So I had that, and because of that, and because I didn't take enough time off, I literally... Right before Q School, 2 weeks before, so this was August, I had 2 tears in my wrist, and I was in a swing, and it just the sharpest pain I've ever felt. And so I dropped the club. I was with my coach actually, and he was like, "You got to figure this out," because we were leaving in like a week for Q school. And so I got a cortisone shot, and then I waited till I got back to get PRP. It's this non-surgical plasma.
PRP.
It's like stem cell. So they take your blood and they spin it and they put it back in, so hopefully to heal itself. So that was a 2-month off. Like I had to take 2 months off. They put me in a brace thing. And it was unfortunate because I was hurt at Q school. I didn't play good at all. So I didn't have as good a status technically for this season. And you're stuck with whatever you have this season because of COVID. So pretty much I'm going to be playing, like I'm starting to play minor leagues next week here with the guys. We try to beat up on some
that's
dudes.
fantastic. So
and so I'm pretty pumped. It's the one day on Monday, and then I'm playing with my old teammate in the team event on Thursday. So those will be my first 2 events with them, and I'll just keep kind of the competitive streak thing going.
So now you have to wait all the way around to.
But I will play WABT tour, so there's an ABT tour.
Yeah, so tell us about women. ABT. Meaning.
So it's called All Pro Tour. I've never played it before because since I was on SymMetra last year, I didn't, have the opportunity to go. All Pro Tour. So I'm going to probably play those, but those are in Texas and Arkansas, Louisiana.
What's this life like? Are you on the road a lot? What's this like?
Last year.
And do you have a caddy as well? And how do you afford the caddy? How's this work?
So SymMetra, luckily, they let you carry your own bag if you want.
Oh, okay.
They're not like LPGA where it's like you have to have a caddy because they know we can't afford it. So
because those caddies are $1,000 a week or more.
Oh yeah. So what they do is there's volunteer ones there. We can actually have push carts if you want to use them. You can't obviously do that in LPGA or Monday qualifiers. But I would do that. I didn't ever do that because since I was hurt, like my mom luckily was able to go with me a lot. And so she was like literally lugging my luggage. Like it was that bad. So I was like, this is kind of embarrassing.
She gave birth and it never ends. You're carrying a lot.
Yeah, she's awesome.
Just to the very end.
And so she has a caddy for me a few times, like in Michigan. And my dad came a few weeks because he's still working and he works from home, but he still has to go see people. And so he caddies some, and then I have these local caddies that do it for fun. Like it's their volunteer. They're probably like 70 years old, but they love it.
Yeah.
If I bring my push cart, they like that because they don't have to carry it. But
now, do you teach them not to give you advice? How's that work?
A few of them
a
few of them wanted to, and some of them really was like, "Don't let me mess you up." And I said, "Yeah, you're good." And then one time it was
and
so
now
funny.
You learn not to say that anymore, right?
Yeah. My 2 favorite events were in New York, Rochester, and Albany, and I had one in Rochester, and he was so funny. And we were walking down the fairway, and I had a good drive, or like I was on a roll, like I had a birdie or in the last hole or something. And he's like, "You hear that fire truck? Because we're just on fire." I was like, I don't, but that was a good joke. I love it. And so we had fun. Like it was just fun. And they love it just as much as we appreciate it.
Did he stay with you? Is he following you now?
We have each other on Facebook, but it's not like he'll. I mean, if I go back to that, he can caddy for me again.
I know.
But no, but they don't ever accept money. So sometimes I want to at least take them to dinner or something to say thank you. But yeah, so that's kind of how that works with the caddies. And then I was home 50 days last year. You just since you're already up north, I just stayed up north.
You mean in North Carolina? I mean north,
north.
Connecticut. I mean
New York, Michigan, all those. So we played Ohio, all those up there. And so I would just stay on the road, and I drove to the ones I could, and then drove from tournament to tournament, from state to state. And then it's I just wanted to stay up there since I was already there, and I drove it. So I played 4 in a row and 5 in a row one time, and I think that's what I learned.
Were you exhausted?
Is you can't do that. Yeah. I was tired after the third one. Yeah. I was like...
Are these 3-day or 4-day events?
We have both, but mainly 3. And so you would go, and Monday's a travel day, and then Tuesday you're usually starting the pro-ams or practice rounds, and then Wednesday definitely pro-am, and then sometimes it starts on Thursday. So it'd be Thursday, Friday, Saturday tournament, or Thursday, Friday, Saturday.
And if you do that week after week after week.
And there's a cut after 2 days. That's how it really works. And either way, 2 and then third day, or 2 and then 2 more days.
Were you making most of the cuts, or were you struggling?
No, I was struggling pretty big time last year. I think a lot of it came with the injury because I wasn't able to practice. So that's what I learned the hard way. It was kind of dumb. I was just pushing something that I shouldn't have been pushing. I should have just taken my time and heal. And then come back. I could have come back in the season because I already had the reshuffle happen. So I could have taken a month off, then got back to practicing, and then got back on tour in, I don't know, June, if I was smart about it. But I learned that way. You can't, for me personally, I don't want to do more than 3 in a row, ever. And so you need to take a week off, make sure your swing's still intact because you
start to
pick up bad
lose
habits and stuff.
Yeah, you get tired, right? And
it's just not good and especially since I was already hurt, I wasn't even practicing. I was like, if I can't work out and I can't practice, I should not be competing. No, that's what I learned. I mean, that sounds like
sounds pretty basic.
It sounds really like common sense, but because I was in the situation and I'm like really into it, I wanted to push through it because it wasn't the type of sharp pain.
Now,
but it turned into that.
Have you always been a ferocious competitor? Like that's kind of got that.
I love it. Yeah, I play better under pressure.
When you were doing that? When did this start? The ferocious competitor in you? How old were you when it started?
I've always loved it because I think I played basketball since I was in kindergarten. So I think it started early. But my parents would pay me like $1.
She's looking over her shoulder to make sure her parents aren't here. She's like looking back as if her parents are going to be in the room.
I know, it's so funny.
There's like no chance right now, and we're not.
They're in a different state.
And we're not live, so if we have to cut your parents out.
They're in North Carolina.
Jamal behind the camera will cut your parents out.
That's good. That's good.
We'll do whatever we got to do.
But they would literally pay me $1 if I got a foul because I needed to get more ferocious.
That's awesome.
Like more tenacious.
Oh, that's
in a basketball. My parents were like, "We'll pay you $1." And so one time I got 3 fouls. Like I'm about to get out, y'all. But I wanted the money, so I was like, "Let's go."
That's hilarious.
So yeah, it was fun. So I think I always had the.
I'm an identical twin, just so you don't know me, awesome. Right? And my twin brother and I were ferocious.
That's so
and
cool.
we were too small to like start in freshman basketball. Everybody was like literally more than a foot taller than us. But the coaches would put us in at the end of games, and we would just hack people's arms off. Like, we were ferocious at the very end because you
the same
sit
way,
on the bench the whole time, right?
Same way.
Yeah, totally.
That's
pretty
awesome.
Amazing. How long have you tell me about this process of competing? There are times when you obviously get tired, but do you ever lose that competitive spirit, or does it stay with you even when you're tired?
I think it stays with me. I think the one thing for me, the hardest thing, my parents would say this too, is like because I'm so outgoing and extroverted and like energetic, sometimes the downfall is focus. Yeah. So I'm trying to
meditate, learn how to meditate, practice mindfulness, do visualization.
Just because I'm like always like
She's
always
passing
going.
that up right now. Behind the camera, he's into that as well. She's just skipping right over that part of it.
I'm just very like
meditating. Thanks for watching See It and Feel It with Dr. Brett, and stay tuned for part 2 of this interview. Remember to like, subscribe, and share with a friend.